Welcome back to These Things Are Written on this Monday, the Monday of Christmas, as we prepare to celebrate the coming of the Christ child, of God with us, Emmanuel. We hear of that prediction in our reading for today from Isaiah chapter 7. We're going to be starting with verse 10 and going through verse 25. Again, it's a longer reading. I'm going to break it up by parts. So far, leading up to this in chapter 7, Ahaz, the king of Judah, is between a rock and a hard place. He has options because he's being threatened by the armies of Samaria and Syria. They want to have him overthrown so that those kings can set up another king. The decision that he needs to make is what to do. Does he agree with Samaria and Syria and join in against the big bad bully on the block, Assyria? Or does he make a treaty with Assyria to have them destroy those other two nations? Or does he trust in the Lord? Let's pick up reading from verse 10. Again, the Lord spoke to Ahaz. Ask for a sign of the Lord your God. Let it be as deep as Sheol or high as the heavens. But Ahaz says, I will not ask. I will not put the Lord to the test. Yeah, right. That's not what he was thinking. What Ahaz's worry was, to be honest, he didn't trust the Lord at all. He wasn't simply going to put the Lord to the test. He was scared to trust in him. It didn't seem logical when he had this other opportunity. So, verse 13, and he said, the Lord, hear then, O house of David, is it too little that you weary men, that you weary my God also? Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. He shall eat curds and honey when he knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good. But before the boy knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land whose two kings you dread will be deserted. The Lord will bring upon you and upon your people and upon your father's house such days as have not come since the day that Ephraim departed from Judah, the king of Assyria. So here is that big prophecy of Emmanuel, God with us. That phrase, behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son and shall call his name Emmanuel, we see in the New Testament, as Matthew quotes this passage, pointing out that it was Mary who was the virgin that would give birth to that son. But yet we also know that it was fulfilled in Isaiah's day. As Isaiah was talking, he was trying to point out that it would not be a long time before this was all settled. That King Ahaz simply needed to trust in the Lord, not in another army, not in treaties, but in the Lord. But since he didn't, it would be a matter of years, less than 10 years most likely, that those two nations would be destroyed by Assyria. This part right here, where Ahaz places his trust not in the Lord, but in treaties, is really the beginning of the end of the demise of the house of David. It is where we talk about the stump of Jesse being cut down. This is where it's been decided that God knows that he is going to send judgment upon Israel, upon Judah, for what they have done. So as we look at this passage, again, it's a reminder of how Ahaz didn't trust the Lord. The Emmanuel, God with us, would just simply be a reminder to Ahaz, as all of this is going on, that the Lord is with us. Even though Ahaz rejected the Lord is still with Israel. The Lord is still in control. But yet God, in his wisdom, uses this prophecy against Judah and against Ahaz to also point forward to the child that would come. Let's go through the rest of this chapter. In that day, the Lord will whistle for the fly that is at the end of the streams of Egypt, and the bee that is in the land of Assyria. And they will all come and settle in the steep ravines and in the clefts of the rocks and on all the thorn bushes and on all the pastures. What Isaiah is showing here is that God, the whistling of the Lord means that he will call Assyria down to attack. He will call Egypt to come. You know, the promised land, was often stuck between those two great powers, the powers down in Egypt and those in Mesopotamia. Israel would often be a place of battles between those, especially in the years to come, showing what would happen because of Ahaz's lack of trust in the Lord, that the armies would inhabit the land. Verse 26, in that day the Lord will shave with a razor that is hired beyond the river with the king of Assyria, the head and the hair of the feet, and it will sweep away the beard also. This idea of the razor, the one who will come in to destroy, to bring Judah to disgrace. Again, the king of Assyria. Verse 21, in that day a man will keep alive a cow and 2 sheep. And because of the abundance of milk they give, he will eat curds. For everyone who is left in the land will eat curds and honey. This is not talking about prosperity. This is talking about desolation. Very few will survive. And those who survive will only be able to keep alive a young cow and 2 sheep. And even though it's not much, they will have more than enough milk. They will have to preserve it as curds because there is no one in the land to eat what they have. Again, verse 23, in that day, every place where there used to be thousands vines worth 1,000 shekels of silver will become briars and thorns. With bows and arrows, a man will come there, and all the land will be briars and thorns. And as for all the hills that used to be hoed with a hoe, you will not come there for fear of briars and thorns, but they will become a place where cattle are let loose and where sheep tread. Again, the desolation, because he trusted in Ahaz and not the Lord. This is what will become of the land. This also ties back to chapter 5 of Isaiah. Remember the vineyard, of how the Lord will remove the hedge from it and will destroy it, and it will become briars and thorns like this is described. A reminder of the judgment that is coming because they didn't trust in the Lord. We'll continue again tomorrow as we start chapter 8, continuing to look at the judgment that would come upon Judah because of their trust in treaties and not in the Lord. We'll see you then. God bless.